Hey everybody, it's Leslie Tagorda here, your brand navigator, brand designer, and of course, brand astrologer. And well, the theme of 2020 is cosmic shifts, and here we come across a yet another one, the Sagittarius Full Moon Lunar Eclipse happening this week. So, if you've been feeling kind of stuck, we are going to talk about this because I have some truth bombs to share with you with what's really holding you back. So, before we get started in this episode, let me just start with a shout out to Teacher 7400 on Apple Podcasts. They say, tips, tools, and wisdom to claim your power in business and in life. Leslie delivers her astro business wisdom with the perfect balance of depth and joy. Her episodes are packed with useful information that is easy to digest because of her fun and playful nature. Leslie is a talented astrologer and a seasoned and savvy businesswoman. No wonder I walk away feeling like a savvy luminary after listening to her show. Leslie lights the way with her cheerful aloha spirit and her depth of knowledge of both business and astrology. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Teacher 7400. I will be looking to DM you because I want to send you a Savvy Luminary goodie bag. Thank you so much. So, everybody, if this podcast touches you in some way, please consider rating and reviewing this because each rate and review helps send this message out further. It helps present this podcast to other listeners just like you. It helps me so much. And if I choose your review to read during an episode, I will send you too a Savvy Luminary goodie bag. So let's dig into today's episode. So we are going to be talking about the truth of what's really holding you back. And then we are going to talk about this Sagittarius full moon, this lunar eclipse, because this is going to help you release all of that bull that's been holding you back so you can take that next quantum leap forward. And then, of course, we'll be ending with the astrology highlights for entrepreneurs for the week of May 31st through June 6th. So this week I've had some way highs and way lows, and actually just in the span of 4 hours, I want to say. So I had a day full of astro brand readings, and I was like high on a kite because I had one of like my most fun astro brand readings that I've done in a long time with a woman from Maryland who had the question of wanting, or didn't have the question really, but she wanted insight on how to move past her fears and how to launch. And this, as we were doing our astro brand reading, it was so moving because she was so open to everything that I was saying. And it was just like I was reminding her of truths that she already knew. She just needed someone to point out and to validate and give her permission to really recognize her strengths. Like, she knew she had all these strengths, but she didn't really know how to access them. And when we kind of looked at the different, she had a bunch of different interceptions for, the astrology nerds, I want to say, in the house. You'll know what I was saying. So I was just giving her the doorways and the keys to access her superpowers. And it was so fantastic. And in just 1 hour, we uncovered so many of the truths that she knew that were already in her and just gave her a roadmap on how to access those truths. Now, a few hours later in the evening, I had scheduled another astro brand reading with a powerhouse of a young woman, educator, sought after speaker. She was such a powerhouse. Now, she was calling in from Asia, and so she wanted to see if we could schedule an astro brand reading that was kind of going to both kind of work for us. But in reality, it wasn't really going to work for me. I mean, during this COVID-19 shelter in place, I've been waking up at 5 in the morning to get my work done before my son wakes up, because once he's up, there's nothing is happening. So she wanted to meet at 6 p.m. my time. And, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. and oh my gosh, let's just say 6 p.m., I am fried, right? Just absolutely fried. But I wanted to accommodate her. I knew she was this amazing powerhouse of a person. I was super excited and a little bit intimidated to do her astrobrand reading. She was super, super clear on what she wanted to learn because she wanted specific keywords and phrases that was gonna like really inspire and open up the doors to her ideal customers. So I was really excited because in an astrobrand reading, I can definitely pinpoint your ideal customers. We can pinpoint to the problems that they're dealing with, and we can look at the added value, the value that you add when you're working with your ideal customers. I can see this in somebody's chart. So I logged in at 6 p.m. I tried to take a little nap before then to kind of get my energy up. I did my research and we were going through the session, and oh my gosh, it was just like, unlike the first session that I did this day, when I'm looking at the video, I can see people light up. Like that's like one of the ways that I do my astrobrand readings is like I can see people light up when things are resonating with them, and as they resonate with me and like our mutual vibration is going, the channels that I get to my higher self, the downloads of information start to flow in. But with this woman, I was already tired. We started off and things were just not vibing. I was then starting in this like downward spiral. And, there was the nagging download was like, Leslie, just, stop the conversation. Let's do a reset, like let's double check some information. And I was so concerned about being valuable to this, what I perceived as this valuable person, that I couldn't shut myself down because I was just like pushing through, using that willpower to like struggle through, even though everything in my being was saying, stop, this is not right. So after 50 minutes of our 60-minute time together, I was like, you know what? This isn't working. I finally put on the brakes and said, hold on, Nellie. I was like, hey, can you check? Is this correct? Right? Normally, when I start off my astrobrand readings, I do get the details. I inquire, say, hey, are the birth details correct? Because if the birth details are not correct, the reading is just wrong. And I didn't do it with this person because I had done a mini reading for her before in a mastermind. And so I thought the information was correct and I didn't double check. And she looked at her chart and she's like, oh, you know what? It's my birth time is wrong. It's AM, not PM. And I was like, oh my gosh, like everything just like sunk down deep into my bones. And I was like, no wonder, I wasn't seeing her face light up. I could feel the channels just not resonating. I could feel the channel with my higher self like saying, Leslie, stop, and me just like completely dismissing it. I know that you probably have felt something like this before, right? So when I edited her chart, we kind of like dug back in, and I was saying things about her, and then she started lighting up. She's like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, holy smokes. Now it was already, that 1 hour mark that we have. I was completely exhausted and I still wanted to give her more. There was part of me that wanted to impress this young powerhouse of a woman. And I finally was like, my higher self was like, Leslie, just shut it, shut it down already. So I was like, you know what? Can we just reschedule? I'd like to do a do-over with this, because with the astrobrand readings, I put in research before we get on the call, and I basically had to start all over. I was completely depleted because I was not adhering to my own biorhythms. I was not listening to my higher self. I was not listening to the calls of just the reflecting back with like her vibration with my vibration. And I just needed to restore, right? So she's like, yeah, sure, let's set up another time to redo. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. So she and I are going to reschedule. It's gonna be fine. What I'm saying is that I had two contrasting astrobrand readings that day. One that was like high as a kite, and one that was like sunk low in the deepest, murkiest mud. And what ended up happening was my beliefs got in the way. So let's dig into this a little bit, because I think you'll find some nuggets here about this beliefs. Because you know what, we are, the nodal axes have now moved into the education axes of Gemini and Sagittarius, and that's where our full moon eclipse is happening, right? And if you've been following me for a while, you know that full moons are the times when we are releasing things that are holding us back. Um, Now that we're in Gemini season, I know that we have all been on information overload. You already know the right information. I already know the right information, yet we're, because we don't feel worthy, or because we don't feel like we know enough, we're constantly like searching for more information, especially in this Gemini season. And what it comes down to with all of this information, our need to like learn more and feel like we're not like ready yet, or don't know enough, or don't have the right tools. I'm going to tell you something. We all already know enough. And what gets in our way is that we do not feel worthy. We do not believe and trust in our own ability to get things done. I just want you to let that sink in for a moment. I'm going to say it again. The thing that truly holds us back, the truth of what holds us back, is that we do not believe in our own powers. Now, I'm going to break down the derailment of that astrobrand reading that I had with that powerhouse, sought after speaker and educator. For me, one of my kryptonites happens is when I decide I empower others that they are better than me for whatever reason, right? I decide that this woman is more successful than me. I decide that this woman is smarter than me. I decide that this woman has so much more than me, and I put her up on this pedestal. Okay. I'm just breaking down my thought process because I know this to be true. Now, what I know this to be true is like, I know this to be, let me explain. I know this ideal of what I put into my head to be truth. But yes, she is a powerhouse. Yes, she is successful. Yes, she is super, super smart. Yet she came to me to get my expertise. She is a star in her own right, just like I am a star in my own right. But the belief of what ended up happening, my belief that kind of derailed it, was all of a sudden I gave her all of my power. I gave her this part of me that I didn't need to give her. Does that make sense? Let me try to explain that better. So I had this perception of her as being more successful than me, of being smarter than me, of being more worthy than me. And that is not true. That was my belief system getting in my way and holding me back from expressing my truths, from saying, no, I can't meet at 6 p.m. I'm not going to be able to give you my best because I am too freaking tired at 6 p.m. No, let's stop. Something is not right here. Can you double check that I got this chart right for you, because something is not jiving? Let's stop and redo. All of these things that I could have not wasted 50, 60 minutes of our time if I had only believed that I was worthy enough to stop the conversation. Instead, I was just trying to overgive to prove myself, right? Do you see how this all works together? So in that realization, I got my full rest. I went on a walk this morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I could see it right after it happened that I didn't listen to my inner knowing. And I know that a lot of us have had this happen to us. So the most successful people are the ones that are constantly listening to their inner knowing. They are the ones that listen to their intuition. They are the ones that say, wait, this is where I'm supposed to go, even though other people are telling me no. The most successful people believe in their purpose in the most basic manner. They are not letting anything interfere. And what I ended up doing when I wasn't believing in and I wasn't listening in to my inner knowing, that's when I derailed myself from success in that particular astrobrand moment. Oh my gosh, what a revelation. So if there's anything that you're going to take away from today, is that what's really holding you back is that you do not believe in your own inner truth. And that is not something that has to hold you back. You have an opportunity with this Sagittarius full moon to let all of that bull go so that you can get to the inner depths of your inner truth to let you guide the way. And I'm going to show you how. So before we get into the details of this full moon eclipse and how you can release all the things that are holding you back from your belief system and purpose, if you want some insight, please schedule an astro brand reading with me. We can work on positioning your brand, aligning to your soul's purpose, and getting really clear on your ideal customers and how you really add value to yourself and to your customers. If you want to schedule your own one-on-one astro brand session or sessions, go to thesavvyluminary.com/astrobrand. All right, full moon eclipse happening in Sagittarius at 15 degrees. Full moon in Sagittarius happens at exactly June 5th, 2020 at 12:12 p.m. Pacific. You already know that a full moon happens when the moon is reflecting the light of the sun at the exact same degree. So the sun is at 15 degrees of Gemini, shining and radiating its full light on the moon in 15 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, because the nodes, the North Node and the South Node, have moved into the Gemini Sagittarius axes, when we have a full moon or a new moon that's 16 degrees from those nodal axes, we get an eclipse. And we are in for a special eclipse season because we have 3 eclipses in a row. It's a rare phenomenon. I mean, it happens on the regular, 2 eclipses at a time, but having 3 eclipses at a time is quite special. And so think of an eclipse as kind of this wild card, a time when you can expect the unexpected in the following months. Okay, so I like to think of an eclipse as kind of like a wormhole. Some people will say it's a portal opening where the outcome is not happening on a linear scale, it's happening on a quantum leap, right? You're going through a wormhole and you're going to come out someplace way higher or way lower, depending on how much mindfulness, awareness, and intention you bring. So there's this book, one of my son Rocket's favorite books. It's called I Wish You More by Amy Krauss Rosenthal. And there's a beautiful spread in that book that says, I wish you more woohoo than whoa, right? It's this idea that the fear and excitement are the same energy, but we just need to bring in our breath. So when we have these three eclipses in a row, this full moon, our next new moon in Cancer on June 21st, and the next full moon in Capricorn on July 4th or 5th, depending on where you are, it's going to be opening up this possibility. This is the theme of this entire year. We're also going to have like Mercury retrograde coming. I'll talk more about that later. We also have this Venus retrograde that is happening right now. This is really bringing up everything that we need to re-examine about what we value, what's important, what brings meaning and purpose in our lives, and what is holding us back from accessing that true innermost belief. So on the full moon eclipse, right, you can go back to our episodes. I'll put in the show notes about creating your own moon ritual, but the full moon is about letting go. The full moon is about letting go of the things that no longer serve you. And because it's in Sagittarius, the moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is all about vision, purpose, exploration, philosophy. It's everything to do with your belief system. And it's shining the light, it's reflecting the light from the moon in Gemini, which is just this overload of information, right? We're talking about trying to get away and sift through all of the information overload to get to your inner truth. So when the full moon is exact, Venus will be just a few degrees from the sun, and Venus will be also in the midpoint of its retrograde season. So with Venus going retrograde, you've already been re-evaluating what is important to you, right? We talked about those values, all of those Venus themes of values, of connecting to others, relationships, money, love. All of those are very Venus themes. So I hope that you've been doing the work in reevaluating what's really truly important to you, because now at the half point of Venus retrograde, when Venus is like touching the sun, this is all coming to the fore. You should get some real clear insights if you've been doing the things that you need to do to readjust and realign. And now with the full moon in Sagittarius, you get to let all of that go. Right? And we also, during the full moon, have this strong square. So this friction with Neptune and Mars, both in Pisces. So be aware of your emotions at this time, because a lot of things can come up. And I'm not going to say that these are going to be pleasant emotions. These are going to be a little bit irritable, right? You might feel like the undertow of a little bit of anger, but you might not even know where this anger is coming from because of Neptune being there, right? So just be aware, let the anger inform you of the boundaries that you need to recreate for yourselves and your business as you build your new values, your new belief systems of what is possible. So get really curious with this full moon. Ask yourself again, with Venus going retrograde, are your values still aligned? What needs to be re-evaluated about how you earn money, how you view money, how you add value in your business? Get curious with the belief systems that you know to be true that are holding you back. What beliefs no longer serve you, right? With that Astro Brand reading that I was doing with the first person who had this revelation, she knew that she had to let go of her fears because she already had it in her. She just needed a little bit of permission. So what needs to be released for you? Look at where 15 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius are in your chart for further insight as to what you know to be the truth. And of course, if you need a little bit of help with that, hit me up for an Astro Brand reading, and I'm happy to help you figure those things out and to create your new possibility. That is what I am here to do, is to help you change your belief systems and to see all of the possibilities that are waiting for you. So again, if you want more astrology for entrepreneurs, if you're curious about astrology and want to surround yourself with an inclusive community, connect with us in my free Facebook group, The Savvy Luminary, to connect with astrology loving professionals like yourself. If you want to create your future faster, the thing that you need to do is not get more information, but to change your beliefs by surrounding yourself with other motivated, spiritually inclined entrepreneurs. My immersion program, Luminary Rising, the doors are still open. Come on in. We talk astrology, we do training, we have group mentorship. It is a beautiful, inclusive community of like-minded entrepreneurs that will support you to build your business faster and more aligned. And if you want some one-on-one, you want to overcome your fears and see your fullest potential, invest in an Astrobrand session or two with yours truly. Head over to thesavvyluminary.com/Astrobrand. All right, until next week, happy full moon in Sagittarius. Mahalo for listening to this brand new podcast. If you enjoyed learning about astrology for entrepreneurs, help me spread the word by sharing this podcast with your business besties, and hop over to The Savvy Luminary for links to episode notes and our free Facebook community where you can send me questions about astrology or branding, as well as connect with other like-minded businesses.